Hi, welcome to Performance Under Pressure. I'm Dr. Terry Lyles, and this session we're going to talk to our winning driver from Under Pressure Motorsport. Greg Gaskin's my guest today, and I'm going to let him talk a little bit about, the past few weeks and preparing for the 2021 season. And Greg, it's great. I'm glad to have you back again. Looking forward to chatting with you, catching up, and talking about Indy next weekend, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, we are too. We're actually getting the car prepped right now for next weekend. So
Nice.
We're looking forward to it.
So I wanted to, make you a little uncomfortable because you're a modest guy. So, I can do this and I'll help you through it. But okay, so a couple weeks ago, you had a red light, doing a race, and which means you were disqualified for lack of a better term. And that's pretty harsh, but that is what it is in racing. Describe what that is and how easy that is to do. Because a lot of people will look at that and go, what were you thinking? Like you were too fast, you were too slow. For the people that really don't understand racing, like my wife, I had to clue her in a little bit. She goes, what's a red light? She goes, that's probably not a good thing. I'm like, no, it's really not. But I'll have you describe to us what that really was.
Okay. It's all about leaving the starting line in drag racing. So it's reaction time.
Yep.
So as your three amber bulbs come down, you want your front tires to actually break the beam of that light going across as the green light is coming on. So to put how important that is, if I would leave the starting line when I seen green, I would get smoked. We call that late. You're going to be a day late. Okay. So it's all about reaction time. So as I was saying, as you're staged, you want your car to actually roll and break the beam the instant that light turns green. Now, tell you how important that is. Let's say I was a 1/10 of a second late on that starting line.
Yep.
A 1/10 of a second down here that you can't really even see with your eye is a full dragster length at the finish line.
Sure.
That's how crucial that is. A 1/10 of a second here is a dragster length is over 25 feet here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So your job on that starting line is to actually break that beam as soon as the green light is coming on. Okay. So when I red lighted in St. Louis, I was 0.003 red. That means those tires broke that beam 0.003 of a second before it turned green. Okay.
Which you can't even see 0.003 of a second.
No.
I mean,
no.
It's not even a breath.
Oh, right. I mean, your blinking of your eyes is slower than that.
That's
okay.
Absolutely.
So it's very important. So that's in drag racing. That's the first initial when you leave that starting line is the reaction time.
Sure. So
and that's what we all strive for.
Yeah, and what you're talking about is an anticipation, which is probably the hardest part of drag racing, I would assume, as a driver, is because you leave late, you get beat. You leave early, you beat yourself.
Exactly.
As close to perfect on the low side of not redlining as possible. Is that fair?
Every time. That's okay. Right on, Doc.
Yeah, so that's not easy to do. So I wanted to clear that up for people that may not understand what that really is. But yet you recovered from St. Louis, you went to Muncie, and you ran again in Muncie. Tell us a little bit about that Muncie race.
Muncie, as I've told you before, we just love that track up there. Yeah. The track owners are just gracious people. The track is superb up there. I don't know if we've talked about tire shake or tire rattle yet, but that's when a car's going down the track and it's trying to grip, but it spins a little bit and then tries to grip again. And the continuance of that causes a shake or a rattle in the car. But man, up there, when that thing leaves the starting line, it's glued when you cross the finish line. It's just a beautiful place to race.
Yeah. So if someone's driving a car, it's almost like, I guess you would consider it forward movement hydroplaning, that you're not making a grip, you're slipping. And, Not to mention, you got to keep the car straight. You and I have joked for years. I mean, we grew up together, and driving a car, you always said, I don't turn left or right. I just go straight. But going straight at that speed and that amount of time is still not an easy thing to hold the car straight, correct? Because like you said, if the car is moving, the tires are gripping, sliding, and you're trying to keep it straight for obvious reasons.
Oh, exactly. And in our team, everybody has their own name for it. If mine's breaking loose and trying to move around down there, we call it's trying to dance with me. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to play the dance. You got to finesse it and try to keep going straight. Because each time that if you start a good hard wobble, you're slowing down again. Okay. Fastest is from A to B is a straight line.
Sure.
So every time you wiggle, it's taking time off it's slowing you down thousandths to hundredths of a second.
Yeah. And I think the average person may not realize that, a thousandth of a second, a tenth of a second, a hundredth of a second. I mean, they look at it and go like, really? I mean, how does that matter? Well, it does at the end of the line, because it can be what they call photo finish, which is that's why there's markers, at the starting line, the finish line, because sometimes it could be so close you can't see it with your naked eye because it could be a thousandth of a second off.
Oh, if you can get a photo of some of the races at the finish line, you don't know who won. You're glad you got an electric eye to say who broke the beam first.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's where the technology, has obviously managed the sport and changed the sport, I think, in a positive way. So you went to Muncie. You actually won the race. Tell us a little bit about what your competition was and how you were able to do that from red lighting in St. Louis, because most people, that's kind of a mind freak. You're like, oh man, I kind of blew it. I was a thousandth or a hundredth or of a second off the starting line. How do you recover from that and go back and actually win the race, the next race?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to tell on myself here just a little bit. And I'm surely in another podcast, like people that are watching, we can explain my delay box that I have in the car.
Okay.
I would like to explain a full tree and a pro tree.
Okay.
There's two differences there.
Well, go ahead. Let's talk. Well, I mean, don't give them your secrets. Just tell them enough to be dangerous, because we're not trying to beat you.
But I mean, till they know these pieces, what I'm going to say, they might not get, but we'll get into that in a later cat. Okay.
Okay.
There is a delay box that's in my car, wired into my car. I have a transmission brake, and that's what I leave the starting line with. So when I engage this button, the car's actually locked in low gear and reverse at the same time. Okay. Now, when you let go of your button, the fluid drops out of reverse. It's just like dumping a clutch on the old school days, except you're using an automatic transmission.
Right.
So unless if you were red lighting a lot, you would put delay in that box. So when your thumb comes off of it, it's timed. Okay. So if I'm red lighting, I'll add a little more time in it. Okay. So Christy and Lisa, wife and daughter, they started pulling up my records. Well, at the Fall Classic last year, we actually qualified number one.
Yep.
And I red lighted by 0.03 of a second first round. Okay. Went to St. Louis, qualified sixth, but red lighted by 0.03 of a second first round. So they said, it's time to roll another 100th of a second in that delay box. Okay. So that's what I done at Muncie, and we were cutting pretty good lights. Okay. Now in the final, I had an 11 light, 0.011.
Okay.
Now, and they were ecstatic. They said, great, you're not red lighting now. This is good. Yep. But yet in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I had that 100th out there right now, I would have had a 0.001 green. And that's as close to perfect as you can get.
Right.
So I hate to give that up, because like I was telling you, if you give that up here on the starting line, it's a lot more at the finish line.
Absolutely.
But if we're going rounds, I'm taking it. Okay.
Right. Well, and you have to, because, speed is what you're after. I mean, and it's not just how fast, and this is another thing that's confusing, I think, to people in drag racing. it's not necessarily your speed. It's more about your time combined with that speed, because you could be the fastest car and lose because your reaction time was slower
For sure.
than the person next to you. They got out faster than you. You could run a faster speed and you still lost.
That is correct. And some people don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, in your pro ranks, it's you leave the starting line, who gets to the finish line first wins, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
What we do is they call it handicap racing. Okay.
Right.
And that's where you get guys at my level, financially, whatever, you have a way to compete.
Right.
So
that's good. I mean, even at Formula One, they're still fighting that. IndyCar, NASCAR. Listen, competition is all about money and those who have and who don't. That's why the top teams consistently win. But yet, if you still scratch and fight at it, there's ways to level that playing field. And it's not just the car, not just the driver. It's the car, the driver, the team, putting everything together to make that work. So again, I think it's fascinating for the average person that really may not follow your sport. They can look at it and say, so I was the best that day, but I lost because I was a little too good. I was a little too fast off the line. And it's like, wait a minute, you were too good and you lost? Yeah, it's kind of what happened. It's called a foul. Yeah.
That's right. And exactly what they call it, Terry. They call it a foul start.
Wow. Yeah, you step
when you
out
red
of
light.
bounds. In other sports, you step out of bounds. It could be the best pass receiving, clutch performance, but you were out of bounds. So that's interesting. Talk about Indy coming up this week.
Looking forward to it.
I'm going to be there with you, so
I
hope
understand.
that doesn't distract you. I'm not trying to drive the car or anything, so I just want to be around and be there to support you as one of the sponsors with Marcia and E7 and all of that. So I'm really excited to be there Saturday and Sunday this week. So talk about the importance of Indy and that particular race.
Well, this one, okay, normally we would qualify on a Saturday, race on Sunday. At Indy, we're going to qualify Saturday, have a race on Saturday. We're going to get up Sunday, qualify on Sunday, have a race on Sunday. So we got 2 races. It's a good time to make a move in points. You need to stay focused. It's my home track. We're going to get the car dialed as close as we can. I think they're going to test on Friday. We'll probably make at least 2 hits just to see where we're at. Yep. And give us not an edge, but at least we'll see where we're at for first round of qualifying Saturday.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And, that's a double hitter weekend. You've got 2 races in one weekend, and other motorsport groups do this as well. IndyCar, NASCAR, Formula One doesn't necessarily do it that much, but, it's really cool because you get 2 races in the same weekend, 2 different days. So that'll be exciting to see and, to be a part of and just, witness that process. So even if you have a great day Saturday, you have to start back over again, duplicate it as much as possible again on Sunday, the exact same way.
Correct. It's a whole new day Sunday. I mean, it's not like starting over, but it's a new ball game.
It's a new day. It's a new day. Yeah, that's good.
So, but we love Raceway. It's close to home. A lot of friends will be out. They'll be racing that don't race in our class.
Right.
That our paths will cross during the year. We love seeing everybody. It'll be a good time.
I'm looking forward to it. We're actually going to do some live recording from there as well, which will be fun. I'll try to stay out of your way and enjoy the process. But I also want to say the Under Pressure Motorsport website is now active and live. It's underpressuremotorsport.com. So if no one has been there yet, because we literally just went live last night. So I don't even know that you know that, but anyway, it's up and live and ready to go. So the front picture is you in victory lane. So that's a good picture to lead with,
All right.
So
all right.
That's how we start. So underpressuremotorsport.com. And then, of course, we as sponsors, myself at terrylows.com that does all the things I do to support, as well as my wife, Marcia, E7, that's ESVYN.com, does all the clothing. We're wearing all this stuff. This is what we do. So support the team, the race. If you're in Indy this next weekend, the 15-16 over the weekend. Please come, be a part of it. We'd love to say hello to you. So like and share this, get it out to other people. And Greg, thank you again for just being a good sport and out there doing what you got to do every day and every weekend. I'm looking forward to hooking up with you guys this weekend, having a blast.
We're looking forward to it too, Terry. So
thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Welcome back. This is the Under Pressure Motorsport interview with Greg Gaskin, our main driver that's out there breaking it, doing it, everything he's got to do. Special shout outs to Christy, your daughter, Lisa, your wife. I mean, they do so much behind the scenes. You know, we really appreciate everybody, you know, putting in. This is a team effort with Bob and Mike and everybody that's involved to make this work. Just thanks to everybody, and really looking forward to having this thing work. We have some media opportunities we're going to do over the weekend. I may have a special guest with me. I'll share that with you another time. But looking forward to this weekend coming up. So thank you for listening in. This is actually Performance Under Pressure, which is me. So if you want to know more about that, it's terrylyles.com, TerryLyles.com. Greg Gaskins, thank you for being a guest today. We'll talk to you soon this weekend. Looking forward to some really good 2 days of racing.
Pleasure, Terry. Anytime. Talk to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
See you soon.